Hi y'all, I'm Allison. Today we're going to figure out the last little bit of my character's profile for the Magical Readathon. Orilium Academy of this spring semester will be starting in April. And instead of just joining in and proceeding from here, I have decided to go back and create my character fully by using G's prompts. And this, of course, is G from Book Roast. And instead of just going through the prompts that are available, I'm doing it a little backwards. So, we're going to find another way to randomly select a book that will lead us to the prompt, which will tell us what species our character is. That's all we have left to decide. So, I think what we're going to do this time is do a TBR jar. There are 6 possibilities for different species. Just a second. I have it in my journal here. And if you can see, I've covered up what they are and only left the prompts available. So I am going to take some books from each of my TBR jars, or from most of them, put them into here, and then I draw out a piece of paper and see if I can match it to one of the prompts. And if it does, that will tell me what species my character is. So let me gather up the jars that we're going to take some papers from. I want some from my unread vets. See, we've got them all in here. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I haven't cleaned this out. And this will be good incentive, because my unread vets and my books from 2021 are on white paper. Okay, so I've got a handful. I'll drop those in there. So we've got that many. I think that's a good amount. This is my jar from 2021. Again, white paper. And this needs to be cleaned out. I've read a lot of these already. So it won't be too bad sorting these back into where they go. This bag is easier. These are blue. Grab another handful out of here. Drop 2 on the floor. And add those in. Lily, no. Did you eat it? Lily tried to eat one. She's my dog. Okay, so we got some blue. And so far, I've got 2023s in here. We're just going to dump all of those in there. Let me have it. Let go. Good girl. I'll give it back to her when we're done. Okay, so we've got a mix of vets. Purchases from 2021, 22, and this year. So I'm not going to look. I hope I get one of the newest ones. Okay. Oops. It ran away. Taking this one. It's a blue. So 2022. This one should not be in here. This is Mitford Murder Mysteries. I do not have book 1. My son bought this for me for Christmas, not realizing he got me book 4. So I am going to set this one aside. Okay. Let's get in here and get this one. Oh, I got 2. Okay, I'm going to take the white one. Okay, let's see. Something I haven't read, hopefully. Beast of Prey, I just read that. Okay, let's try. It's a yellow one. Her sister's death. It's another Once Upon a Book Club. Okay, I got lucky with this one. It's beautiful. Gilding on the edges. I love this cover. Isn't that striking? I checked my list. It doesn't match with the prompts. So here are my options. I'm trying to find a book that will fit one of these. This doesn't fit any of those. So it doesn't work. We have to draw again. I'm so glad I looked, because while I really want to read that book, I don't have the time this month to just read one off of, just for fun. Okay, we're going to go with this white one. This time I got to keep in mind my prompts. House in the Cerulean Sea. Read it. Okay, try again. Here's, I got 3. Since the blue is in my hand, we'll try that one first. It's trickier than I expected. A rover story. Let's check our... we got one. Science fiction. First one on the list. I don't know what species that is. We'll find that out after read the book. So this is like a Mars rover. It's a middle grade. I remember getting this one. I'm actually excited to read this one. It piqued my interest when it came in. Okay, so this one has an exclusive cover. Oh, okay, so we've got a little Mars rover named Resilience, and he wants to live up to his name. He was built to explore Mars and not to have human emotions. But as he learns new things from the NASA scientists that assembled him, he starts to have human-like feelings. Maybe there's a problem with his programming. So human emotions or not, Blast Day comes, and he is launched off to Mars to do his mission with a friendly drone helicopter named Fly. So he soon discovers Mars is a scary place, and as millions of people back on Earth follow his progress, will Resilience, he goes by Res, have the determination, courage, and resilience to succeed and survive. So I'm going to read this little middle grade sci-fi, which works out really good. So it should be a quick read. But I have a feeling this kind of always gets me. It gets me right in the heart. So we will see if it ends up, making me feel bad for the little guy. I hope he doesn't get too lonely and scared up there, because that'll pull my heartstrings pretty harshly. So, okay, I will check back with y'all probably midway through the book, and then we'll talk about it at the end and reveal what species sci-fi will lead me to. I'll see y'all later. I have one word for this book, and that is adorable. I'm like halfway through. It is just the most precious thing I think I've read in quite a while. We have our little Mars rover. He is being built and tested in a lab. And he's also taking note of the interactions with the humans have with each other and, with him. And he's assimilating that into his programming. And the way it's handled is great. It's not your typical does not compute, stoic robot voice and all of that with, I don't understand what a smile... He's assimilating it, he's learning it, and it's just very entertaining. There's also an epistolary angle to it through letters that are being written by a elementary school student, and the letters are just as endearing, especially because they have the truth of a child. Kids don't mince words. They just come out and say what they really think. So I'm enjoying that outside aspect for this story. Puts everything kind of into context with his overall mission, with the enthusiasm of a child. And I think one of my absolute favorite parts so far is the machines are able to communicate with each other. So he also comments on the tablet that the scientists are using, and he has a conversation with the engineer who's programming her phone, and it cracked me up because apparently when we're not using them, our cell phones are playing our games that we've downloaded to them. So, food for thought. Okay, I've got some reading to do. I will be back. I just finished a rover story by Jasmine Warga, and I cannot praise this book enough, y'all. It is just precious. It's full of wonder and hope and resilience, which is our rover's name. It is such a heartwarming story. It got me a little teary-eyed a couple of times because it happens over a much longer time span than I expected. So remember the story or the letters that I mentioned earlier, that actually continues on. It gives you a different perspective during the book, and oh, it was just, this was so good. It made me want to watch some rover footage, for one, from the Mars rovers. This was, in fact, part of it was based on the missions by Perseverance, and there's an author's note in the back, Curiosity. So part of it was based on that, and part of it was purely fiction. So yeah, if you like sci-fi or middle grade March, this book would be perfect. And like I said, it gave me such a warm, fuzzy feeling, because resiliency, he processed emotions by studying human expressions on their faces and their tone of voices while he was in the lab being assembled and tested and everything. And he actually applied that learning to his own code. And his little drone friend, Fly, is adorable. Just so excited and exuberant. And I was afraid that part of this would be, being lonely and scared and all. And that's not the case at all. It does have a few moments, like I said, that just make you go, and I was on the edge of my seat a couple of times. All the emotions are in here. It was so beautifully done. I'm going to have to look and see other books by Jasmine Warga, because apparently this is like her 5th one. Highly recommended. Oh, in fact, I got so caught up in the book, I forgot all about our character creation. So, now that I've finished the book, let me grab my journal and find out what this is going to reveal for us in regards to our readathon. I get to remove my sticky note and see what species it's going to be. So that was definitely a science fiction book. And I need my reading glasses because this is quite small to fit in my book. I'm a dwarf. Or my character is a dwarf. So we've got a dwarf from Dayrune that lives out in a rural setting. So character established. I think now now we can pick a name and see about joining a guild. And there's also the Novice Path. So I think I might actually be ready in time for the spring semester at Orilium Academy. So I'm going to leave that for the next video. We'll have probably the first book in the Novice Path, along with which guild I'm going to join and the name of my character. So I hope you'll be back to check that out. I'm having so much fun doing it this way. Let me know if you like this format. I like the reading the book and popping in and telling y'all how I feel about it while I'm in the middle of it. All right. That's it from me from now, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye now.